happy to address any questions you might have.
Coach, there's an old adage that defense wins championships. Your defense is leading the league in several categories right now. What do you have to do to get Duck up to the next level to make a championship run this year?
I'm just trying to win a game this week, to be honest with you. I hadn't thought a lot about it, so I probably don't have an appropriate answer to your question. I'm trying to figure out what I need to do with Duck this week to get out of this stadium.
Are you giving him more attention? Is Coach Fitch giving him more attention to coach him up to get him to the next level?
We give him the attention that a starter, appropriately deserves, but we're not giving him any additional attention. I had this conversation with someone after the game. I'm thoughtful about my interactions with people. We always say the right things, but do our actions match our words? I told Duck I had a lot of confidence in his abilities and his preparation and his talents. I wanted to display that confidence by not talking him to death, not having a bunch of additional meetings and things of that nature. I wanted to display that confidence by going about our routine. Not only confidence in him, but confidence in our preparation process, how we go about our business of game prep. So it hadn't been a whole bunch of the things that you mentioned. He's a starting quarterback. We're interacting with him in the ways that we interact with a starting quarterback in preparation for a game.
What am I doing, Mike?
I don't know.
I'm making a duck call because the whole city's in love with the duck and duck calls right now. It's a pretty good duck call. No? All right, my girlfriend said it sounds like a cat getting run over by a... Anyway,
It does. She's smart.
let's talk about this awesome win by your Pittsburgh Steelers. You know what, Mike? We go into Cleveland 2 weeks ago. The Browns literally, physically beat us up, win the game. There was some redemption going into this weekend. Freddie Kitchens is running around with a shirt. Pittsburgh started it. He couldn't have set them up for failure any worse than it had happened. So much to talk about. We got the victory over the Cleveland Clowns. Mike, what did you make of Devlin Hodges, man? Because, well, it was his game to win or lose.
Well, I thought he played great for an undrafted rookie free agent. Now, as an NFL quarterback, I thought he had a solid game. It wasn't as great as everyone thinks it was, and it's never as good as you think it is, and it's never as bad. When you go back and you watch the film, that's the case. But he played a solid game, and it was good enough to win the football game. But for him, as an undrafted rookie free agent, great story, good game, was smart, had only one turnover, and he had a win. So he's got 2 wins underneath his belt.
Well, look, there's variables that have to fall in place, that have to happen for the Duck to be successful, for your Steelers to be successful. Mike, your game plan has to be successful. Your offensive line has to play the game of their lives to keep him upright. And 3, and we'll start here, the emergence of Mr. Washington.
Coach, would you define that as James Washington's breakout game?
No, I'd like to think those type moments lie ahead, those significant moments. He made some plays, no doubt, but a breakout game, I got visions of what a breakout game looks like, and that's pretty rare air.
For another guy, do you think Deontay Johnson's kind of working through that tough part of a season for a rookie? He hasn't been as productive. It seemed like there were some teachable moments for him.
I don't know that it's a tough part of the season. I just think it's the season itself. When you're a young guy, each and every week you're presented with challenges, and particularly as you get on this side of Thanksgiving, man, it's uncharted territory for a guy from Toledo, But he's done a good job, and we've been thoughtful about the management of him over the course of the journey. He'll have gas in the tank for December, and we'll utilize it.
Finally coming, I call it his breakout game. 2 years ago, he's leaping up for balls that are he's not supposed to be leaping for. Breakout game for James Washington?
He made some big catches, and right exactly when they needed it. When the defense needed the offense to step up, Devlin Hodges made some great throws, put his receivers in some great opportunities, and James Washington came through with those catches. But the thing that I thought was great for the Steelers in the most part was Benny Snell, the emergence of him. He really stepped up, and you kind of seen Jalen Samuels the past 2 weeks. You thought he was going to be the guy, and he wasn't. They used Benny Snell, and he's been doing a great job. He's been really running downhill hard, and you noticed that they ran the ball 32 times this game as opposed to the last time they played the Browns, it was 19 times.
Wow. And again, that's that game plan in Coach Fitch puts in. He goes, okay, what variables can we use at our disposal to take the pressure off of the young duck? Benny the bowling ball Snell, we saw him in camp, a rookie, you know, and you're like impressed with him because he is a bowling ball. He gets that momentum. Like you said, it's almost like he's running downhill, Mike.
Yeah, and it was a great job by the offensive line as well. You know, they were missing Pouncey, but they still did a great job in the run game. It takes the pressure off the quarterback. They also utilized a couple screen passes. I think they had 4 screens in the game, 5 movement passes where they're actually doing play action, getting a little boot out to the outside and getting Devlin Hodges on the move, changing the launch point of the throw and making an easy completion. You might be only throwing it 3 yards in the air. It's a 1-yard pass.
What about the Van Animal?
What? So to me, the game plan was much better than the first time. You know, Mason Rudolph, the first game against the Browns, he threw the ball 44 times. They ran the ball 19 or 20 times. This time, they throw the ball 21 times and they run the ball 32 times. And it was the exact opposite. The Browns, the first time around, they had 35 rush attempts, and Nick Chubb had 27 of them. This time, they only had 20-some rush attempts, and Nick Chubb only has 16, and he's leading rushers.
Where did he go in the second half? They didn't run the ball with him.
It proves to you that you need to be able to run the football in the NFL to be successful, and that helps a young quarterback, especially when you have a defense that's going to get turnovers for you.
Okay. Your defense, by the by, in case you kiddies out there didn't know this, is statistically leading the league in 4 or 5 categories: takeovers, forced fumbles, second in a couple other categories. Defense wins championships. Right now, the Baltimore Ravens are looking pretty darn good, Mike. Them Bean Eaters up in Boston, they're stumbling a little bit. So let's just get a little goofy and hypothetical here, Mike. You got a great defense. Defense wins championships.
Yeah.
If the Steelers stumble back asswards into the playoffs, what do we have to do right now? And again, Mikey played for the Eagles. He played for the Lions. He's played at a pro level. You're his coach, position coach. What do you do right now to coach the Duck up? He's got to go from here to here now to get us into a playoff run. What does he got to do, Mike?
I don't think it's making him make that jump. I think it's more of just coaching him up and having him become the best game manager he can be. Because let's be honest, he's got a little swagger to him. He's got a little gunslinger in him. He's not afraid to throw it down the field. If I'm the coaching staff, I'm still trying to reel him back in a little bit. Like, hey, that was one game. He made some great throws. Keep that to you. We need that. But at the same time, let's not turn the football. Take care of the football. Hand it off. Get the time of possession. Rely on your defense. Think Tom Brady 2001. When he was second
When he came in here and destroyed my hopes to go to the Super Bowl?
No, he didn't. He got hurt, and Drew Bledsoe did.
Oh, that's right.
So
Patriots.
But you think, he didn't throw the ball a lot. You want to keep the throwing to about 15 to no more than 25 times a game with him. Rely on the run game, hand the ball off, conservative passing, a lot of play action, get the clock running, and rely on your defense. And the way you do that is by having your defense, you play solid and try to get an early lead. They fell down. He was 3 of 9 with a minute 48 left in the first half, and then they kind of opened up a little bit, and he took a couple shots and had some big plays, and that was huge for his confidence. But again, just take what the defense gives you. Don't go try and force in anything right now. And I'm not trying to have him step up. Just coach him up on the situational football. The big mistake he made at the end of this game. He did have one interception. We kind of threw up. He might have missed some miscommunication with the receiver, but the one I saw was the third down in they call it the 4-minute drills. In offense, you're trying to run the clock out. The 2-minute drills when you're trying to score points. The 4-minute drills when you're trying to run the clock out. We used to always practice it. And what you want to do is you want to stay in bounds, protect the football, and you don't want an incompletion pass. Most teams don't even chance it. They'll just say, hey, we're going to run it. We're not even going to chance it. We'll take, But
keep the clock moving.
But
keep the clock moving.
When a coach has the confidence in your quarterback to throw the ball in that situation, there was a timeout. That's a perfect time to pull him over and be like, look, all right, this is a situation. If he's wide open and you can complete this ball, go ahead and make the throw. If not, slide, take a knee, take a sack. Don't throw it away. We want that clock to run. And you can actually run 35, 40 seconds off the clock as opposed to throwing it and you save the Browns 35 seconds.
Wow. You know, from my layman, I was an offensive lineman, so I don't know what he's talking about half the time about this quarterback stuff. But for me, Mikey, if I was his position coach right now, there's two things, and you don't want to overwhelm the kid. You do it in a gentle way. There's two things you got to do, because you got to think about the offensive line he had at Samford. It sure the hell wasn't Villanova and Pouncey. It wasn't a pro line. I need him to do two things, and he is relaxing a little bit, but step up into that pocket when the pressure comes. Don't be running around like a mad duck. Second of all, and you know this word, go through your progressions, go through your progressions, go through your progressions. There was a play towards the end of the game where we all saw the footage. Washington's running down the left sidelines with his arms wide open.
Yeah.
If he steps up into the pocket, goes through his progressions, he might hit Washington for 7 more points, baby.
Yeah, but there is a little bit of a trust issue there, and he's still learning the offense. And once he realizes when he's protected, when he's not protected, he'll be like, okay, I'm protected, I can step up here. At this point, I don't think he's an expert on the offense the way Ben is. And
He's 7 quarters
exactly,
in.
yeah.
He's 7 quarters
So
in.
he might struggle when he sees that pressure come. He might get a little skittish, and that's just expected as a young guy. And as long as he gets out and he doesn't go and take, when he tried the left-handed throw, he's lucky that ball, it was a fumble, and it kind of slipped out of his hand when he went to go throw it. He's lucky that ball went out of bounds, because that was a situation where they were about to put points on the board, and they could have fumbled it, and they ended up getting 3 on that drive. But the main thing is just coaching up through situational football. And then also, all that work needs to be done early in the week. Tuesday on the off day, come in, have a little extra meeting, do a little extra work on Wednesday, but then come Thursday, Friday, Saturday, back it back off, because you don't want to overwhelm them. Like, Coach Tomlin said in the press conference, we don't want to overwhelm him. That's exactly what you want with a young guy. Don't put too much on his plate, but coach him up on some situational football.
Mike, based on what we're talking about the defense, and again, I adhere to this, there's been plenty of teams that win a Super Bowl. You take Peyton Manning a couple years ago, his shoulder and arm was as bad as yours is right now, and they won a Super Bowl predicated on that beautiful, tough, Von Miller-led defense out there in Denver. There's no reason for Steeler Nation to give up hope right now. If a few magical things happen here, one, they're going to stumble into the playoffs, and on any given Sunday, baby, any given Sunday, this team might beat up on Lamarvelous or whatever his name is down there in Ravenland. Second of all, you give this defense a crack at Tom Brady one more time. They got a lot of years of angst built up against Mr. Brady. Now, Patrick Mahomes, well, with that release of his, he's deadly on any given day like a rattlesnake. But, Mike, there's hope. As we enter into December, there's hope that we're going to the Super Bowl.
No, there's always
There's hope we'll go to Super Bowl.
There's always hope. And,
There's always hope.
And but like again, you don't go looking ahead, because the last time the Steelers did that, they lost to Jacksonville. So you don't go looking ahead. You keep one game at a time.
You had to go there.
Yeah,
you had to go to the
Jacksonville.
Jacksonville.
Be honest.
Yeah.
But they'll be the first to tell you, hey, we got the Arizona Cardinals this week, and that's a tough matchup for them, because Coach Tomlin mentioned how aggressive they are at pass rushing, how aggressive they are at getting at the quarterback, and when you have a mobile guy like Kyler Murray, he makes one of those guys miss, and he gets outside. He's not like Baker Mayfield.
He's
where
gone.
He can actually make something happen. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers maybe change up something a little bit, put a smile on him on defense. You might see Micah Fitzpatrick down in the box a little bit more. You never know.
I put the Predator, Devlin Bush on him, and let him take care of Kyle Murray. All right, Steelers Nation, we head into Arizona this week. One thing of hope, though, as we close this episode out, the Cardinals ain't very good, Mikey, at defending the pass. They're trying to bottom of the league. Maybe the Duck has 550 yards passing.
And they're not very good defending the run either. And, a couple of weeks ago, they have a banged-up Todd Gurley, and he ran all over them. And I would expect to see a heavy run package, a little bit of play action, maybe open it up a little bit. But again, you don't want to throw the football with a young quarterback. You want, hey, get a lead, protect the lead, and just pound the football. Let that clock
Yeah, but is
run,
this the kind of game, though, that you want right now? A defense that is suspect against in the Cardinals. Maybe you get a little cocky this week.
No,
and say, you know what? I'm flying Washington. I'm flying Deontay. I'm running my big Van Animal across the middle, and let's light this thing up for 50 throws this week.
Just like you
it's
said.
It's warm out there. It's nice in Arizona.
It's a dome, and they open the roof. But just like you said,
it's always nice in Arizona.
But just like you said, on any given Sunday. And this is the NFL. And the Cincinnati Bengals won last week. And the Dolphins are putting some wins together.
There you
So, hey, you can't take any team lightly. You can't say, oh, we can air it out this week. No, you stick to the game plan, stick to the run game, bring him along slowly, and let him mature as he plays.
One thing's for sure, Pittsburgh may have started it, but we finished it too, baby.